The Workplace Fairness Bill is an inclusive and progressive one, but it has a glaring carve-out. As many members have mentioned, specifically Section 10.2 excludes sexual orientation and gender identity from the definition of sex. These are the only two characteristics that are expressly excluded from the bill. What message are we sending? Are we telling LGBTQ+ people that they are not protected from workplace discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity? Are we telling employers that it's okay to discriminate against someone because of their sexual orientation and gender identity? When we repealed Section 377A, Minister Shanmugam explained, quote, "The time has come for us to remove Section 377A. It humiliates and hurts gay people," unquote. He said, quote, "They deserve dignity, respect, acceptance. They do not deserve to be stigmatized because of their sexual orientation," unquote. By repealing 377A, Minister Shanmugam said that we will, quote, "start to deal with these divides, heal these divides, remove their pain," unquote. But now, do we not think that we may deepen the stigmatization by having our workplace fairness law single out sexual orientation and gender identity for exclusion? With this bill, will we deepen the divides that we started to heal with the repeal of 377A? The bill's carve-out of sexual orientation and gender identity is not merely hurtful to LGBTQ+ employees, it could also cause them to face additional workplace discrimination. Studies have shown that LGBTQ employees already face significant workplace discrimination. A 2024 study by the NUS Soswi Hock School of Public Health found that over half of the respondents who were LGBTQ experienced discrimination or harassment at the workplace based on sexual orientation or gender identity. A 2022 study by Aware and Milieu Insights found that 68% of LGBTQ+ persons reported experiencing discrimination compared to 56% of those who did not identify as LGBTQ. One respondent to the NUS School of Public Health study, who is lesbian, said that a headhunter warned her against bringing up her sexual orientation at a job interview because a previous candidate had been rejected for mentioning the same-sex spouse. Another respondent who is gay said he was told by his employer that he would not be appointed to a managerial position because of his sexual orientation. Indeed, hiring managers and HR representatives themselves have described the same type of discrimination. The Singapore LGBTQ+ Workforce Audit 2022, which polled 200 HR professionals and business leaders, found that only 64% of respondents said yes when asked if companies were open to recruiting and hiring diverse candidates, including LGBTQ individuals. It is likely that the data understates the scale of the problem and that LGBTQ individuals are underreporting the discrimination they face. From 2018 to 2022, none of the 312 workplace discrimination complaints received by TAFEP and MOM were related to discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. The NUS School of Public Health survey found that for LGBTQ respondents who experienced workplace discrimination and harassment, only 10.71% reported it to the employer, 0.32% reported it to MOM, and only 0.97%, not even 1%, reported it to TAFEP. The express exclusion of sexual orientation and gender identity from this law is likely to worsen this discrimination. Employers may think they are free to discriminate against LGBTQ employees. Employees may have the belief that TAFEP, TADEM, and MOM will not assist them. Can Minister provide a clear statement that discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity in the workplace is wrong and unacceptable? Can Minister also confirm that discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity is prohibited under the Tripartite Guidelines for Fair Employment Practice and Prevention from Harassment Act? Will Minister confirm that TAFEP, TADEM, ECT, and MOM will assist individuals who report being discriminated against at their workplace due to sexual orientation or gender identity, and that LGBTQ+ individuals who face discrimination should feel safe to report workplace discrimination to TAFEP, TADEM, and MOM? Moving forward, can Minister share a timeline for reviewing protection against discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity? This would not be a radical step. The UK's Equality Act already includes sexual orientation as a protected characteristic. This is the law that the Tripartite Committee on Workplace Fairness have cited as having a positive impact on workplaces. I know that in Minister Tan's reply in Parliament in July 2023, he said that the committee's recommendations were scoped tightly and to address the more common and familiar forms of discrimination. He said that it's better to take a measured first step. Let stakeholders adjust to the new rules before reviewing if more needs to be done. I agree that our workplace fairness laws needs to be measured. I welcome the suggestion that our laws will be reviewed and updated. However, it is one thing for the bill to be silent on sexual orientation and gender identity, and a very different thing for the bill to expressly exclude sexual orientation and gender identity. Again, do we not feel this is taking a step back by reinforcing discrimination and promoting stigma against LGBTQ+ individuals? Given that the exclusions already exist under the bill, I hope again that Minister can provide a clear assurance that discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity is wrong, regardless of whether this position is codified under legislation. Will Minister also share what data and factors he will consider in deciding when our laws should expressly prohibit discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity? I would like to end by thanking groups who have been fighting hard and tirelessly to ensure that we can live in a world without discrimination. In particular, I thank groups that have been speaking up against workplace discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. They include Pink.SG, Olga Chaga, Same But Different, SAFE, Project X, Q Chamber of Commerce, Action for AIDS, and AWARE. There are many more groups and individuals who have fought hard for a more inclusive Singapore, including for LGBTQ+ individuals. While there are too many to name, I thank them for their perseverance and advocacy. As former President of the United States, Bill Clinton said, quote, "All of the country loses when any person is denied or forced out of a job because of sexual orientation. Being gay, the last time I thought about it, seemed to have nothing to do with the ability to read a balanced book, fix a broken bone, or change a spark plug," unquote. Indeed, a person's sexual orientation or gender identity has nothing to do with their ability to do a job well. I support this bill, which ensures that we can live in a world without discrimination. And a world that is without discrimination must be inclusive, regardless of a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. Thank you.